In the Roblox horror game Doors, many theories get made to solve the lore of the game. Some of these theories are great and are widely agreed upon, and some are not. Today I want to talk about a theory I personally don't believe in, but I want to discuss nonetheless. The 6 lights theory is a theory that was made on the Doors Discord by these users. The theory suggests there are 6 light characters, rather than 3. This video will be split up into 2 parts. Part 1 will be me explaining all the evidence for the 6 lights theory, and Part 2 will be why I don't think this theory is correct. Now with that said, let's begin. To start off, let's list some of the evidence and explain each piece after. 1. The number 6 appears multiple times throughout certain areas of the game. 2. The environmental design of Room 60, and 3. The hub of Veritas plus its relationship to Starlight. Also, before I explain the evidence, there is another theory that exists that extends off the 6 lights theory. This is the 7 lights theory. The only evidence for this is that the credits UI has 7 unique colours excluding brown. Now I know what you're thinking, creepy. The crucifix says there are only 3 lights. But that is only half true. The crucifix says there are only 3 architects. The 6 lights theory suggests the other 3 could be called constructors. This idea goes off the fact that architects in the real world don't build stuff, but constructors do. Now let's explain the evidence. Number 6 is talking about how the crucifix sigil has 6 points, there are 6 chairs and closets in room 60, and also the fact that room 60 is an important room, which has 6 in the name. The environmental design is referencing to the chairs and closets, but they are also referring to more. 3 out of the 6 chairs are placed in a triangle in front of the space-time painting, while the other 3 are placed randomly in the room. There are also broken piles of wood placed throughout the floor, leading the player to the rooms. There are even probably other stuff I forgot to say. What this theory focuses on mainly, however, is how there being 6 chairs could be used as evidence for there being 6 lights, and there being 3 knocked over could possibly suggest that the 3 constructors are dead. The hub of Veritas has 2 pieces of evidence for it. The first piece is how its name is Latin. Veritas can mean green, fresh, young, lively, and youthful. But if you translate those words back to Latin, only green makes Veritas. This means if there are 6 lights, then this could suggest that one of the constructors are green. Another piece of evidence with the herb is how the screen effect you get from it is the same effect you get for drinking a Starlight potion. This could mean that the green constructor made the herb for us, or just made the herb and put it there. To start off, I will be talking about the 7 lights theory first, and then I'll talk about the 6 lights theory. The main problems I have with the 7 lights theory is that firstly, it only uses half of the credits UI screen. I get why they do, the other half is just brown, however there's 3 different shades of brown, so by this theory's logic, those should also be important, but they're not. Why? Another problem it has is that the architects are based on the colours of the devs. What I mean by that is the red light is based on Redibles, and the Curious and Guiding Light are based on L-Splash. While the credits UI does show us former colours, the devs those colours are assigned to do not match. The final problem with this theory is how I believe it gets mixed up with how colourful the game can be. In the hotel, the walls have tons of different colours, the carpets have different colours, and even the books have different colours. This is the same with the mines. The Gloombat and the Gloombat eggs appear with different colours each time. I know this isn't a strong argument, but I feel it is correct and worth saying. Now for the 6 lights theory. The problem with the constructors is that there is no evidence for them, and I feel like the architects is not the role of the 3 lights, but instead their species. Like how in Subnautica, the precursor race are known as architects. For the number 6, the sigil has already been debunked by the fact that when the guiding light closes a door, the sigil appears and it has 8 points. As for the number of chairs, I'll be discussing that later. Room 60 is just a reference to the entity A60. I know this because A60 is the most well-known entity from original rooms. It's so well known that it got put into the room subfloor. And hey, look at that! Room 60 is the entrance to the room subfloor. For the environmental design, I feel it has been misinterpreted. Before, I said that the 3 knocked over chairs were placed randomly in the room, but that is not true. Every chair we see is on the broken plank pathway. The order of these chairs go: knocked over chair, 3 chairs in a triangle with a knocked over chair, and finally, a knocked over chair. This tells me that in some way, there is a story being told. And I think this story is that the 3 architects are fighting each other, and as we get further into the story, all of them will die. But hey, I could be wrong, and there's a different story being told. What do you think? For the herb, I have 2 arguments. Argument 1. The herbivoridus is not related to the lights, but instead is related to the vines. Indoors, there are a ton of references to plants. It's like the Doors devs put up a big sign that said, and recently, we now know what these plants are trying to foreshadow. In the courtyard, there is a vine behind the fence. In the mines and greenhouse, there are a ton of vines that appear. And in room 152, the same vine from the courtyard appears holding a lamp. What is even crazier is that Redibles has stated that the snare is not multiple entities, but it's just one entity, all linked by vines. How is Viridis connected? I don't know, but I feel like this argument just needed to be said. If you don't think that is correct, Argument 2 has a much better explanation. If you look really hard at the Curious Rift, you can see that it glows green light sometimes. This is not the only time an architect has glowed the wrong color. The guiding light, sometimes when using the drift or during its door barrier for the figure, it can glow purple. This to me shows that Viridis could have been made by the Curious Light. Now, I also have one last argument about the constructors. I put it here at the end of the video because I know I'm going to get angry and I don't want to get angry at the middle of the video. The idea of the constructors says the architects can't build at all, but they can. We have seen Guiding Light build minecarts, and yes, it's not the same, but it's clear that the power is there. So why is it an impossible idea that they can build more? Curious Light can build stuff too. They build levers and that add time to the back door. These levers get hooked up to the building's electricity and the timer, basically making the lever an extension of the building, which only a constructor would be able to do. And here's the part where I'm going to get angry. I even said this about the Curious Light in the Doors Discord server, and I was told that because it's not the same, it doesn't matter. But that's not the point. The point was that they clearly have the power to build stuff, so it's easy to assume that they can build more, such as buildings or rooms. But no, because they aren't the same, my idea gets dismissed. Are you serious? Wow. How can you say they are not important because they're just not the same thing? It doesn't matter if they're the same. It shows that they have that power. The part where I get angry is probably going to get cut, mostly. Or probably there'll be a bit of me getting angry, but I think most of it's going to get cut because I went a bit off script. But the point I was trying to make was that because they have the power to build stuff, they should have the power to build buildings and rooms, which the constructors have, meaning the constructors are not relevant or not important, if that makes any sense. Anyways, this is the end of the video. Please let me know your thoughts. Also, by the time this video gets released, it's probably September the 18th, which if it is, that is my birthday. So happy birthday to me. Anyways, goodbye.